Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. So, I've been saying that Bitcoin and the crypto market needs a bit of a correction and or a cool down period. For a few days now, for my last couple of videos, I said that it's very possible that we get a correction here soon. And that was back here. We did get a little bit of a correction, but Bitcoin decided to go even further, almost testing 50K. We got to about 49,800. But now, again, I'm saying that we are probably going to get a correction and or a cool down period before we try to test 50K. And I will be showing you all my reasons for that, as well as my reason to think that this is probably going to be a relatively quick correction, because it looks to me like Bitcoin wants to try and conquer 50K very soon. Before we get into that, if at any point you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like, subscribe, and turning on my post notifications. Really appreciate all the support, everybody. I am a super small channel, so any amount of support goes an extremely long way, and I really appreciate it. So let's start off with Bitcoin here. Now, the first thing I want to point out on the 12-hour time frame is that we have been creating this pretty large bearish divergence here since July 25th. So for almost a month, the Bitcoin price has been disagreeing with the indicators, pushing further upwards as the indicators are going down. And as you know, this typically leads to a bit of a correction. And if you zoom in on Market Cipher B, you'll see that we are about to print another red dot, which will further confirm the bearish divergence. And so what I did here is I pulled a Fibonacci retracement from the low of 29K up to the high of 49.8. to look for some potential levels that Bitcoin could retrace to. And we got some pretty interesting levels here. The 0.382 level lines up with this swing high over here. And we also got a wick pretty much down to this line right here if you look closely. So you could argue that that let us flip to support. Now, I heard some other people talking about some potential levels, and one of them that a lot of people are looking at is this area right here. And it's more of a range. It's interesting because this 0.5 Fibonacci level lines up with the bottom of the range, as they were saying, almost. They were saying 39,500 to about 40,500. Some people are expecting to get a bounce in this range somewhere. And the 0.5 Fibonacci level is not the strongest Fibonacci level. The 0.618 is considered to be stronger than the 0.5, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin can't bounce off that level and find a reversal here. However, this 0.618 level lines up perfectly with this swing low of this move. We bounced off of this level perfectly, and there was a bit of confluence in this area. Price stuck around there for about a day's time. So if we don't hold this 0.5 level, then I would be looking at this 0.618 at 37,000. However, I kind of expect Bitcoin to find a bottom around 40K. I'm watching this range right here. And I'll also just show you that it looks like we're about to print a bearish divergence on the daily as well. The VWAP, if you look closely, is coming down pretty sharply too. It was like a nice hill formation, which typically just breaks straight down. But same as the 12-hour, the money flow is still increasing. So I expect this to be a short and sweet retracement. And now jumping over to Ethereum, we are getting the same bearish divergences on Ethereum. Now the 0.382 lines up with the 2730 level, and if you zoom in, this level was kind of respected already. You can see there was resistance there, the body of the candle closed on it, and then 2 candles later we got a wick down to it to confirm it as support. So that is one level I would be watching. This 0.5 level seems to also be respected. There is a wick down to it right there. Some confluence around these candles. The price just kind of hung out around there. So I would be watching these 2 fib levels at 27.30 and 25.30. And on the 12-hour, you can see the bearish divergences a bit clearer. But same as Bitcoin, money flow is still high, and it is turning to the downside a little bit. But if we can get a quick bounce off this retracement, I expect to see it continue growing. The daily money flow is still looking good for Ethereum, still moving upwards. Bitcoin is always changing. The market is always evolving. There are always different things that propel the markets. But one thing that is true is that it is much healthier to build support below you for a move than to just pump it up as quick as you possibly can. These corrections build structure. They also give people who missed out on a chance to buy back here an opportunity to get back in at these same prices. These corrections are overall healthy, and I tend to lean towards the side of this market is going to take a little bit longer than we expect. Because if you just kind of look back on Bitcoin's recent history, even if we have these explosive rebounds for Bitcoin, sometimes it takes a while for people to accumulate, for people to get their sentiment back in the market. And we already have lots of momentum, I believe, from this upward move. I believe a lot of this momentum carried on into the present day. A lot of that momentum is still here. However, this correction slowed us down a little bit. You can consider it a speed bump, if you will. And I just don't know if I see us getting all the way up here by this green line, which is the 29th of September. Even the on-chain data is kind of showing that overall, people are accumulating still. Nobody is selling. Nobody really still thinks that this cycle is over. More people are, in fact, buying now than ever. But to me, it would just make a little bit more sense if, let's say, we got to 150K by this mark over here in December. I just don't personally think we have enough time and momentum at the moment to get us to where we want to be by September. It would make more sense to me if maybe we hit 150K, maybe a little bit more by December. That's just my personal feelings about this. I would not be complaining if we got to 100K by the end of September, but I would rather the cycle continue on for a few more months, maybe reach some higher highs, and that will reward those who are patient a little bit more. But anything can happen. I'm just showing you what I see, and what I see is that we're going to need a correction here at some point in the near future, probably sometime soon, this week maybe. And maybe it doesn't take this long to recover. Maybe it only takes a few days. Maybe we come down to this level quickly and then start bouncing up. I just want to go over this article real quick. Institutions appear bullish on crypto despite record Bitcoin outflows. Now, I've made some tweets the past couple weeks asking your guys' opinion on this. I've seen some people talking about it. A lot of people are saying that this second half of this bull cycle is going to be led by alts instead of Bitcoin. And while I don't know if I believe that entirely, the data does suggest that the interest in DeFi, Ethereum, altcoins is higher than the interest in Bitcoin right now. And now here's some data to suggest that some institutions are swapping their Bitcoin for other crypto assets like Ethereum, Cardano, BNB, etc. At the start of 2021, the cryptocurrency industry was bursting with news of increased institutional investment and this is still largely true, despite reports suggesting increased outflows from institutional investors. Net inflows are still very much positive. Additionally, though Bitcoin appears to be the investment of choice for liquidations, institutional investment into Ethereum has never been healthier. Bitcoin accounts for over 44% of the total 2 trillion digital asset market cap, while Ethereum stands at around 18%. Back in May, the number of addresses holding more than 1,000 Bitcoin fell to around 2,100 from the 2,500 mark seen in February, according to the blockchain data analyst firm Coinmetrics. However, most indicators point to institutions increasing their overall holdings. According to this guy, Chief Business Development Officer for the platform 1inch, there's no doubt that institutional investors have a long-term bullish approach to crypto and Bitcoin specifically. The number of institutional investors that have exposure to crypto has risen dramatically over the last year, and they didn't come for short-term gains. International investment banks and financial service companies like Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan have all set up Bitcoin-related services and funds over the last few months. In mid-August, Bitcoin reported its sixth consecutive week of institutional outflows with over 22 million in liquidations in a single week. This marks the longest period of outflows for the digital asset since 2018. Still, the total assets under management for digital asset investment products rose 10% in the same week, though this was primarily due to price appreciation. On the other hand, multi-asset products appear much less certain about their direction, with institutional investors increasing their holdings by 7.5 million and attracting nearly 12 million through inflows over the last month. In contrast, over the same period, Bitcoin funds have experienced over 68 million in outflows. All of this points to institutions diversifying their holdings into other digital assets besides Bitcoin, with altcoins like Ethereum, Cardano, and Binance Coin also seeing increased inflows. While BTC outflows may be higher than ever, institutional investments into digital assets are higher this year than ever before. The undeniable pattern is that institutional interest and participation in the field continues to rise, says Jack Tao of Femex. He also stated that the DeFi space was still in its early phases of adoption and that while some technologies and applications are already in place, we are still only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Smart institutional investors can sense the change coming and wish to position themselves squarely as beneficiaries for what's to come, he said, adding, the final use cases that blockchain will address hasn't even been imagined yet. And I very much agree with that statement. In this space of innovation, they are creating systems that work and then finding problems for them to fix later. That, I believe, is one of the magical parts about this space, is that we don't even know what they're going to be used for. We have an idea, we have many ideas, but nobody really knows. And I find this interesting that data shows that institutions have been outflowing Bitcoin at a pretty large rate since the drop, while the inflows of projects like Ethereum, Cardano, and Binance have been increasing during that time. That does help the narrative that altcoins are leading this half of the cycle. While I think that is true to a certain degree, I feel like Bitcoin is still the lead ship. However, altcoins are definitely taking on more weight than they ever have before and are definitely doing their job in helping propel this market forward. So, interest in this space is growing. Whether you're a whale or a turtle or a snail or whatever they call you, everybody is increasing their holdings or has been. Seems like most people still agree that we have a second leg of this bull run coming and that this was the start of it. And many people agree with me who think that in order to maintain a healthy market structure, we should have a correction here. It is what the indicators are saying. And we haven't just been pumping up without any support. We have come down for corrections before. Maybe we just come down and test a double bottom on this one. And who knows, maybe we come down, get another trigger wave, and then create a much bigger wave here, completely voiding this bearish divergence. But I seem to think that we might come down just a little bit farther. Either way, the corrections are healthy, and they give anybody who missed out an opportunity to buy back in a little bit. So we will just have to see how this week plays out. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider hitting the like, subscribe, and turning on my post notifications. And I will see you all tomorrow for my next video. Peace out, everybody.